In the 1st century AD, Roman legionaries stationed in Britain had a problem. The cold was unbearable, damp and relentless, nothing like the Mediterranean they came from. So they did something that sounds insane. They stripped branches from a common roadside plant and whipped their own legs and arms with it, until the skin swelled red and burned. The plant was stinging nettle. Every leaf and stem is covered in thousands of microscopic hollow hairs called trichomes that function exactly like hypodermic needles. When the tip touches skin, it snaps off. The remaining shaft penetrates the flesh and injects a cocktail of chemicals directly into the tissue, including histamine, serotonin, and acetylcholine, the same neurotransmitters your body releases during an allergic reaction. The Romans were not confused. The sting caused a rush of blood to the surface, heat flooded the limbs, and the pain from arthritic joints subsided for hours. They called it urtication, from urtica, the Latin word for sting. They did this every night on sentry duty in the freezing British rain. 2,000 years later, modern research has confirmed why it worked. But here is the part nobody expected. The same plant that injects you with histamine, the chemical that triggers allergic reactions, also contains compounds that block histamine receptors, inhibit mast cell degranulation, and suppress the exact inflammatory cascade that causes hay fever, seasonal allergies, and allergic rhinitis. The plant that stings you is also the cure for the sting. The antihistamine drug market was valued at $17.8 billion in 2024. Zyrtec alone generates over $347 million a year. This weed grows in every ditch, every roadside, every neglected corner of every temperate country on Earth. It has been used as medicine for over 2,000 years, and as food for longer than that, and your council sprays it with herbicide every spring. This is the story of stinging nettle. In the National Museum of Denmark, there is a piece of bronze age cloth woven from nettle fibre that is 2,800 years old. The body wrapped in it had been buried deliberately. Nettle textiles predate cotton in Europe by millennia. Along with flax and hemp, nettle was one of the 3 primary plant-based textile materials on the continent, because unlike cotton, it grows in northern climates without irrigation, pesticides or fertile soil. The fibre inside the stem is stronger than cotton and finer than hemp. When the British naval blockade cut off Germany's cotton supply during World War I, the German army made uniforms from stinging nettle. Captured German uniforms were found to be woven from it. By 1918, the Tewkesbury Register reported that nettles were being used as a substitute for hemp in cloth and cordage, as a paper base, and as a spring vegetable. In World War II, Germany returned to nettle fibre and reportedly used it for parachute material. It took 40 kilograms of nettles to make a single shirt. A plant so reviled that children are taught to avoid it was strong enough to hold a soldier falling from the sky, and fine enough to sleep between his bedsheets. Meanwhile, Native Americans harvested young nettle shoots as a critical spring food when no other green was available. Samuel Pepys recorded eating nettle porridge on February 25, 1661. The Anglo-Saxons listed it as one of their 9 sacred herbs in a 10th century healing charm. At peak season, stinging nettle contains up to 25% protein by dry weight, higher than any common leafy green. A single 100-gram serving delivers 416% of your daily vitamin K, 67% of your vitamin A, and significant calcium, iron, and magnesium. It tastes like spinach when cooked. Boiling or steaming for 30 seconds destroys the stinging hairs completely. You can eat it without a single sting. Now here is the science that should concern anyone with a Zyrtec subscription. In 2009, researchers at the University of Florida published a landmark study in phytotherapy research, examining how nettle affects the biological pathways responsible for allergic rhinitis. They found that nettle extract performs 4 simultaneous anti-allergy actions. It acts as an antagonist and negative agonist at the histamine 1 receptor, blocking histamine production and release. It inhibits mast cell tryptase, preventing mast cell degranulation, the process that releases the cascade of pro-inflammatory chemicals that cause allergy symptoms. It inhibits both COX-1 and COX-2, the same cyclooxygenase enzymes targeted by ibuprofen and aspirin, and it inhibits hematopoietic prostaglandin D2 synthase, blocking the specific prostaglandin most responsible for nasal inflammation in hay fever. 4 mechanisms, 1 plant. In a randomised double-blind study published by Mittman Implanta Medica, 98 patients with allergic rhinitis received either freeze-dried nettle leaf or placebo for 1 week. Nettle was rated significantly higher than placebo in global clinical assessments. Patients reported relief from sneezing and itching. A second randomised double-blind placebo-controlled trial, published in the Iranian Journal of Pharmaceutical Research in 2017, treated 40 patients with allergic rhinitis using nettle root extract at 150 mg per day for 1 month. The nettle group showed significant improvement in clinical symptom severity and a statistically significant reduction in nasal eosinophils, a key laboratory marker of allergic inflammation. The p-value was below 0.01. They also showed significant changes in interferon gamma levels compared to placebo. These are not massive trials, they are small, and that is the point. Nobody with a $17.8 billion revenue stream has any reason to fund large-scale trials on a weed you can pick from a ditch for free. Think about this. Cetrizine, the active ingredient in Zyrtec, works by blocking histamine 1 receptors. That is one mechanism. Nettle extract in the Florida study demonstrated 4 distinct anti-allergy mechanisms simultaneously. Zyrtec targets 1 pathway, Nettle targets 4. Zyrtec costs roughly $20 to $40 for a 30-day supply. Allegra costs about the same, Claritin about the same. Multiply that across 55 million American allergy sufferers, and you begin to see why no pharmaceutical company has any interest in telling you about a weed. A box of nettle tea bags costs $3. Dried nettle leaf in bulk costs less than $1 per ounce. The plant itself grows for free, perennially, without any input from you, in every temperate country on Earth. It comes back every spring. You cannot kill it. If you try to pull it out, it regrows from the rhizomes you missed. It spreads by seed and underground runners simultaneously. Abandoned human settlements can be identified by archaeologists specifically because nettles still grow where people once lived, feeding on the nitrogen-rich soil we leave behind. This plant follows humanity. It always has. The global allergy treatment market was valued at over $19 billion. The seasonal allergic rhinitis market alone was worth $10.8 billion in 2024. Second-generation antihistamines like Zyrtec, Claritin, and Allegra dominate this space. More than 55 million Americans reported using antihistamine drugs for allergy management in 2023. The FDA has approved over 120 antihistamine formulations for over-the-counter sale. Not one of them is a nettle extract. In Germany, nettle leaf is regulated as an active ingredient in licensed natural health products. In Canada, the same. In the European Union, it is classified under traditional herbal medicines. In the United States, it is classified as a weed. Your lawn care company charges you to poison it. If this is landing the way I think it is, do me a favour and hit subscribe. Every subscriber helps us keep pulling these stories out of the ground. Here is what you can do tonight. Stinging nettle is in season from early spring through early summer. Wear gloves, long sleeves and trousers. Harvest the top 4 to 6 inches of young growth before the plant flowers. Once you steam, blanch or dry the leaves, the stinging hairs are destroyed. You will never feel a sting from cooked or dried nettle. For allergy. Support the simplest method is nettle tea. Pour boiling water over 1 to 2 tablespoons of dried nettle leaf, steep for 10 minutes, strain and drink 2 to 3 cups daily during allergy season. For a stronger preparation, freeze-dried nettle leaf capsules are available at most health food shops, typically 300 to 600 milligrams per dose. The Mittman study used a freeze-dried preparation specifically because the freeze-drying process preserves the active compounds more effectively than heat drying. As a food, treat young nettle leaves exactly like spinach. Blanch for 30 seconds, drain and use in soups, pasta, omelettes, or as a simple side green with butter and salt. 1 serving gives you more vitamin K than you need for 4 days and 2/3 of your daily vitamin A. Now picture this. It is 10 years from now. There is a patch of stinging nettle growing along the back fence that you stopped pulling out 5 years ago. Every April it pushes up fresh green shoots without being asked. You harvest a basket of young leaves wearing kitchen gloves, blanch them in boiling water for 30 seconds, and pack them into freezer bags that last the year. During hay fever season, you brew dried nettle tea every morning instead of reaching for the Zyrtec bottle. Your eyes are clear, your nose is dry, and you saved $400 a year on antihistamines and gained a free perennial source of protein, iron, calcium, and vitamin A that nobody planted, nobody watered, and nobody can patent. Your neighbour asks about the patch by the fence. You tell them it is a plant that Roman soldiers whipped themselves with to survive the British winter. You tell them the German army made uniforms from its fibre when they ran out of cotton. You tell them a 2,800-year-old corpse in Denmark was buried wrapped in cloth woven from its stems. You tell them it contains 25% protein, it blocks 4 allergy pathways simultaneously, and it grows back every year, whether you want it to or not. You tell them it followed humanity out of Africa, across Europe, into the Americas, and it is still here. Still growing, still stinging, still feeding and healing everyone who bothers to learn what it does. Then you tell them the council sprays it every spring and Zyrtec charges $40 a month to do what $3 of dried leaves does for free. And if you want to go deeper, head to our website where you can grab our free ebook on lost plant remedies the system forgot, but the science never did. Thanks for watching. Check out another video and make sure to hit subscribe